Alright guys, doing a quick intro. I forgot to shoot anything before working on the car, but today we are going to be doing wheel bearings on the Dart. It turns out it was the rear wheel bearings. I'm not going to replace all 4 wheel bearings just because. So if you're looking for a full tutorial on how to do fronts, you're going to have to find another video because this is only going to be doing the rears. Basically we're just doing maintenance on this car to try and keep it going. The actual projects are going to be the bike, which is kind of out of frame, and this little black car over here behind me. Points if you can guess in the comments what that car is before I actually tell you. Videos on that are going to be starting soon. I have another like build project thing that I'm going to be starting after this video. So if you want to see that, please make sure you subscribe. One more thing before I go, let me know if the video and the audio is different. I mean, I know it's different, but let me know if it's better. I'm using a different camera and an external microphone this time instead of just my phone. So if you notice a difference in quality, if it's better or worse than before, please let me know in the comments. I want to make sure the videos are the best that they can be for you guys, for the few of you that actually watch. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Most wheel bearings, when they fail, the first way you're going to notice it is from a noise inside the car. It'll have like a humming sound or a whirring sound. So it's just one of those things, you go out and you drive the car every day or every week, and then one time you notice it's a little bit louder than usual. I took the camera inside the car and I went down like a quiet road kind of away from town, so I could do some road tests and you guys can hear what it sounds like inside the car. Okay. Shifted, pretty much no change in noise because it's tied to wheel speed, not engine speed. It's another thing you can do. Again, that whole time we were at a constant speed, 55 miles an hour. You can also do this in a straight line. Every time you swerve, it loads up the right side and it goes wah, wah, wah. So we know it's probably on the right side of the car, but we're still gonna have to do the shake test to make sure. And we also don't know if it's the front or the rear. The shake and spin test is exactly what it sounds like. You jack up your car, you grab the wheel, and you shake it to see if you can feel it or hear it clunking around. It's gonna be ever so slight, so you're gonna have to put some force into it when you're shaking it. Just make sure you don't pull the car off the jack stands onto you. Be safe with it. Can't really feel any wiggle side to side, but if you go up and down. I double checked the wheels on the left side, but those were okay. So we know it's just the right side of the car and the rear that needs to be replaced. These are the tools that you're gonna need. It's really not that bad. For doing the fronts, you will need some external Torx sockets. I'll throw a picture. Because that hub assembly actually just bolts right to the suspension knuckle. To get to the hub assembly, you need to take the wheel off, so jack up the car, take off the lug nuts using the 3/4 inch socket, get the wheel off. To get the brake caliper off, you just undo the 2 Torx bolts that are holding it on the back side. That's what the T47 socket is for. You can use a flathead screwdriver to pry the caliper away from the brake rotor. When you take it off, make sure you prop it up on a jack stand or use some zip ties so the weight of the caliper isn't hanging on the rubber brake line hose, because you don't want to damage that. To get the brake rotor off, you can either loosen the bolt that holds the brake rotor on before you take the brake calipers off, or if you forgot like I did, you can rotate it so you can kind of use the center hub to grip against to keep the rotor from just spinning. After you take the brake rotor off, it's just 3 10mm bolts that hold on the dust shield. You don't really need to take the dust shield off to get to the hub, but I did anyway because it's just 3 bolts. Make sure you don't strip these. Again, they're really small 10mm bolts, so just be gentle and use the penetrating fluid to make sure it's loosened. You can hear it if I do it that way. To remove the dust cap, use a small flathead screwdriver and a small hammer to gently tap and work your way around and slowly loosen it and pry it away from the brake hub. You can just do this by prying back and forth, by twisting it, and just work your way around a couple spots at a time. Just be gentle and take your time. If the small flathead screwdriver isn't big enough after it has moved out a little bit, you can switch to a larger one. And then as you get to the very end, you can just use big channel locks to grab it and pull it out that last little bit. Just don't squeeze too hard and make it out of round into like an oval shape, because then you can't reuse it. The last thing holding the hub on is the hub nut, so use the 32mm socket to loosen it. I used a breaker bar because it's on there, torqued pretty good. And then once the nut was off, I pulled on the hub and it just came right off. I was expecting it to be kind of seized onto the spindle a little bit, but that wasn't the case. It came off nice and easy. Before installing the new hub, I just went ahead and cleaned up the mating surface with a little bit of brake cleaner and scraped a little bit of salt corrosion off. It was just like some white powder looking stuff. I just gently scraped it off with a flathead screwdriver. The new bearing already comes pre-sealed and pre-greased, so you don't need to worry about packing bearings or doing anything like that. It just slides right on the spindle. The manual says to get a new spindle nut because when you torque it down, it has a little curved washer in the back that flattens out and holds it at the right spec. So make sure you follow torque specs on this one. The manual says to use 129 foot-pounds. So I went to 130 foot-pounds and then just backed off one. There we go. The birds are ridiculously loud, but trust me, it's quieter. So we'll go ahead and throw everything back together and take it for a test drive. This is going surprisingly well. I need to knock on a piece of wood. To reassemble, just do everything you just did in reverse. To put the dust cap back in, just tap it gently with a hammer so you don't bend it too much. To put the brake rotor back on, I like to use 3 lug nuts or wheel nuts just to kind of center it. So when I torque it down, the little screw sits flush with the surface. Because the brake rotor is already aligned, it doesn't have to rely on that one little screw to align it. Caliper bolts back in, wheel back on, and you're good to go. All right, she's good to go. Still there, going around the corner, back to going straight. Noise goes away as we go around the other corner. And we come back to straight and it's noisy again. Okay, that's gonna do it for today's video. If you liked, please give a like down below. If you want to see more videos about car maintenance or other crazy garage projects and tinkering with stuff, definitely subscribe. There's more videos coming soon. I try to upload every month. And if you're interested in seeing any other videos, I'll put up a few here on the side. You can click and watch more if you want, or you can just subscribe and wait for those other videos to come out. So thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.